For years and decades, famous investors have been telling the governments, not just the US government, get responsible, reduce deficits, lower spending. But what did the politicians do? Absolutely nothing. And even now, Donald Trump was promising us to balance the budget, but...
And I'm sorry, I don't think President Trump, he's doing all kinds of great things. He's not focused on reducing spending.
Now we still have time. They could still do something about it, but they won't. The House just passed Trump's big, beautiful bill. This sent a clear signal to the bond market, foreign governments, foreign central banks that the US is not serious about fixing the fiscal problem. Maybe the bill should be renamed from the big, beautiful bill to big kamikaze bill.
The House passing the big, beautiful bill, which is big, but it ain't beautiful.
When Donald Trump was elected, there was a glimpse of hope. Even Elon Musk wanted to be part of the solution.
What are the budgetary savings goals? And
our goal is to reduce the deficit by $1 trillion. The reason we're doing this is because if we don't do it, America's going to go insolvent. We're going to go bankrupt. And nobody's going to get anything.
But now, I think that even Elon Musk gave up and went back to work at Tesla. He is back at spending 24/7 at working and sleeping in conference, server, and factory rooms. In this video, you're going to learn why the big, beautiful bill is not so beautiful. It actually makes the problems worse. Also, you're going to learn what you can do about it to survive and prosper. My name is Mariusz Skonieczny, and I've been investing in the stock market full-time for 16 years. I'm also the founder of microcapexplosions.com, which is a private membership website dedicated for small and microcap stocks. This is where we find unknown stocks before they become popular. I really think that our politicians are either financially illiterate, corrupt, or just don't care. Trump's big, beautiful bill just passed the House, and these politicians are celebrating as if they found a cure for cancer.
Today, the House has passed generational, truly nation-shaping legislation.
As the Speaker said, it truly is morning in America again.
Our one big, beautiful bill fulfills the mandate for change we were given last November.
This one big, beautiful bill makes a generational investment in national defense.
After the big, beautiful bill passes the Senate, America will finally get its big, beautiful life back. No more inflation, good jobs, economic prosperity, low taxes, affordable housing, healthcare, and low interest rates. But before pouring cold water on the big, beautiful bill, let's hear what this bill is all about.
We just passed the one big, beautiful bill. No tax on tips, no tax on overtime, no tax on loans for American-made cars, tax relief for seniors. Make the Trump tax cuts permanent. We hold the woke elites accountable, and no taxpayer benefits for illegal immigrants who broke the law.
This sounds so fantastic. How could low taxes and cuts in wasteful government spending be bad? How could anyone criticize this? Well, I think Peter Schiff summarized this pretty well. The big, beautiful bill not only won't make America great again, but it continues the destructive fiscal policies that contributed to our fall from greatness. Ironically, it may be the straw that breaks the camel's back, ushering in a long overdue dollar and sovereign debt crisis. As always, our politicians are treating the symptoms instead of treating the root cause of the problems, which are the US national debt and budget deficits that are spiraling out of control. The US national debt is approaching $37 trillion and the federal deficit of $2 trillion. This is a massive problem, especially when interest rates are going up. In 2024, the US government brought in $4.9 trillion in revenues, but spent $6.8 trillion on expenses. That's almost $2 trillion of deficit that the government had to borrow. Social Security spending was $1.5 trillion, Medicare $865 billion, Medicaid $618 billion, non-defense $960 billion, defense $850 billion, and net interest or interest expense $881 billion. So in 2024, interest expense alone was more than the budget for defense, it was more than the budget for Medicare, it was more than the budget for Medicaid. That's pretty insane, don't you think? However, the big, beautiful bill is going to make it even worse.
If this bill passes as is, can the general public take the 33 or 34 odd trillion that we have in debt? Should we add 22 and say we'll be at 58 trillion by 2035? Is that the right math or the wrong math?
That understates it. The CBO projection I'm looking at assumes we're going to gain another $4 trillion from increasing taxes. So again, we may not get that $4 trillion, but no matter what, the CBO projection right now that is adding another $22 trillion to our debt, it certainly would add at least that. I would argue probably add another $3 or $4 trillion. So it's not going to be 59 trillion. It's going to be more like 62, 63 trillion.
So the big, beautiful bill will make our big and beautiful U.S. national debt go from $37 trillion to $62 trillion. But not only will the amount of debt increase significantly, also the interest rate on this debt will increase.
And the CBO scores assume the interest rate on the federal debt, I believe, is an average of 3.6%. And now we're seeing the 30-year trading above 5%, meaning that if we trade up to 5% for the cost of debt for the federal government, we're probably going to add another $5 trillion of incremental interest expense over the period, another $500 billion a year on average over the next 10 years.
Accounting for more debt and higher interest rates, we could be looking at $3 trillion of interest expense alone per year. This is why interest rates are going up right now. Simply supply and demand. The supply of debt is going up very fast, while the demand is not keeping up with this, thus forcing interest rates to increase. This is why Moody's downgraded the US government credit rating. This is why we have inflation. This is why the economic growth is so slow. The US government is sucking out all the capital from the private sector. Now, all of this could be fixed with one thing: balance the budget. In other words, make the US government revenues exceed or equal the expenses. This is what would make America great again. Balanced budget would mean no more inflation, lower need for taxes, no need for tariffs, lower interest rates, and thus more economic growth, more jobs, stable purchasing power, and store of value. Does the big beautiful bill even attempt to do any of this? All I hear is tax cuts, which means lower revenues. No taxes on tips, no taxes on overtime, deduction for this, deduction for that, extension of tax cuts, this and that. But, Medicaid spending is getting cut out. Really?
There are no cuts to Medicare and Medicaid. Zero. Nobody's cutting Medicare and Medicaid. They are applying a work requirement. So they're simply saying that if you're in that class of individuals who are not in retirement, you're going to have a work requirement in order to collect Medicare, Medicaid. So there are no, this has been a bunch of headlines coming out of the left media going, oh, they're going after Medicare. No, they're just getting rid of people that are basically fraudulently collecting Medicare and Medicaid.
Look, it's just the same old. Democrats want to increase spending and tax the rich. Republicans talk a big game, but want to cut taxes and increase spending on other things like defense. The end result is pretty much the same. Out of the last 100 years, the budget was balanced only 12 times. That's it. The bottom line is this: it doesn't matter if the bill is called One Big Beautiful Bill, or Make America Great Bill Again, or Bill Sent from God. If it doesn't cut Social Security, Medicare, defense, or interest rates, it doesn't matter. Consequently, we will always have inflation, poor people and average middle class will keep getting poorer, housing will be unaffordable, economic growth will be slow, good paying jobs will be in short supply, and taxes will have to be high. That's just the reality. Politicians will never make your life better. You have two choices. One, you can cry and be depressed, or you can realize no matter who is the president or who is in Congress or Senate, you are on your own. And the best thing that you can do for yourself and your family is to become valuable to society. Make yourself useful to others. Become a doctor, engineer, teacher, or whatever. Then, as the politicians continue destroying the value of the dollar and other currencies, you can always deserve part of the resources, whether they are priced in Bitcoin or whatever new currency gets adopted. Start a business that others need. And if you have capital, allocate it to gold, Bitcoin, and even government bonds. What? Government bonds? Look, if they continue borrowing more and more money, the market will force the government to pay more in interest expense. And what's wrong with getting paid 5%, 7%, or 10% by lending the government your money? The more inflation that they create, the more interest they have to pay you. Or buy a house and use debt to finance it. When you buy a house in a decent city, the price of your asset will continue to go up with inflation, but your debt will get devalued. Finally, buy stocks in great businesses. Businesses with pricing power will always be able to raise prices. New technologies will always be needed. Problems will always need to be solved. In summary, don't stop growing. Don't stop investing just because a bunch of morons are running the government and bankrupting countries and driving currencies to the ground. Morons will always be morons. But we can prosper no matter what. And talking about promising investment opportunities, sign up for Microcap Explosions or get my free ebook when you subscribe to my free email list. The link to my email list is in the description below. Thank you for watching.